What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark, MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm back. It's still March Madness, and I've been picking out some Netflix movies that I liked over the years to try to prove that they've made at least 31 good, great, or excellent Netflix movies. This one falls in the good list. I just don't have a review of it up. I'm not going to say it's great or excellent, but I'm going to say it's a good movie worth watching that one time through. Sort of like, I only realize this because I just happened to cruise over the rating. Beekeeper has a 71% on Rotten Tomatoes. Nobody's saying that that movie is a work of staggering genius. We're just agreeing that it was fun as an action movie and it worked. This is Kate. This is Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Woody Harrelson starring in Kate. And I think it works as a film. I think it is exactly what it says it is, it wants to be, and it comes in and has excellent audio description uh, throughout the several bloody action sequences. Winstead is an actress who has not quite had her day in the sun, although she occasionally gets something cool where critics give her praise for it, but it doesn't seem like there's any sort of real effort to make her into a film star. So she's trying to make it happen by taking on the roles herself and taking something that could have just been boring, hot, boring Netflix garbage and making it relatively interesting through a performance. There are things about this that don't work. There are. I mean, the film really takes no time to get going. It doesn't establish her at all. It just, I mean, within the first 5 minutes, we've the movie's already going. She got her soda and she went out and she's on her first assassination. I think she's already pulled the trigger in the first 5 minutes of the movie. So it's really hard to say that Kate is established as a character. But you do get a hint of the plot with the dynamic between her and Woody Harrelson, which becomes important throughout the duration of the plot, especially because Woody's going to disappear for a large chunk of the movie. And, Kate, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, is going to go out on this revenge tour. Basically, what happens is she works, it's one of those John Wickian things where there's some sort of like clandestine organization that is ordering hits and kills, and she works for that group. So she's been ordered to, pull the trigger on someone, but there's a kid there and she's worried about that. We see through flashbacks that she was recruited when she was a kid and started training to be an assassin, sort of like Black Widow. And Woody was training her from the beginning to be a badass hit woman. And so she's never really had a normal life and really wants one. Would really like to have that white picket fence and that husband, that kid, and the trips to Walmart and stuff like that. Woody doesn't understand why she would want that, but that's what she wants. That's what she wants. It's just a normal life. So she pulls the trigger and kills and sets off a chain reaction. And she's ordered again to take someone out. And it sort of leads on this adventure / journey where she finds herself in the hospital where she learns that she has in her blood a poison that will kill her, that has no cure. It's sort of like a one of those genetically engineered things that just is, that's it. You're gonna get it, you're gonna die. So she breaks out, and then she's got, she knows she has a limited amount of time. She takes some like steroids with her, and she's gonna max pain her way through the remainder of the story. And along the way, she's got the girl that was there when her father's head got blown off, will assist her and also sort of be uh, like she's like a willing hostage. That Stockholm syndrome. It doesn't even seem to like it's. I don't even think it's Stockholm syndrome. I think it's just sort of like this girl kind of hates her life, and so when Kate tries to take her, she's easily just like, listen, can't we just be friends? I wasn't that happy with where I was to begin with, you know. So, and it goes on a journey of Kate has a limited amount of time to enact revenge on those who would have poisoned her and figure out who did it and make them pay. And all the while, she's trying to set it up. I guess this girl can live a normal life after she dies. So there isn't really like a moment where it ever suggests to you that Kate might live. She has these sores and stuff on her body from the infection, and yeah, it's just not really gonna. Nothing's really gonna change her future. The action sequences are fun. It's fast paced. There's some interesting choices that are made in terms of how to shoot a sequence and where she sort of is coming from, and the interesting characters as Kate sort of works her way through this criminal organization. I just think it's an interesting movie. It's fun and it moves at a quick pace and it never really lets up. It just sort of goes. Part of the problem is because it does that means there really isn't a lot of time for character development. There also aren't a lot of characters. So you have to just sort of accept that she's moving through this criminal organization, which is the same thing John Wick does. I mean, he just kind of blows through people and they don't really have a lot of backstory to them. The people that John Wick is after or are after him and he ends up having to kill, they don't really have a lot of backstory. He does. That's the thing that's lacking for her is that we see that uh, she wants to have a normal life, but yeah, she just can't have one. So this was fun a second time around, and this came out in 2021, so it's been 4 years, and I watched it again, and I thought it was good the second time around. I still had fun with it, and it reminds me a lot of films like Beekeeper or Roadhouse that were just fun action movies. They're not necessarily. I didn't think they were magnificent works of art, but I do kind of look at movies as what is it that you're setting out to achieve and try not to compare movies that are not similar in any way, shape, or fashion and have wildly different stories and choices and hold a movie back in terms of where it should be on a scale when they're not even the same thing. Like, yeah, The Wild Robot was great. I loved it. I don't know how that affects Kate. They're not the same movie. They're not the same genre. They're not going for the same audience. Yeah. So when I think about where Kate is in terms of films and genre, it reminds me a lot of other female-led assassin action movies like Lucy or Salt, or even Netflix's Gunpowder Milkshake with Karen Gillan. And I think it holds up with all those. It'll be interesting to see Ballerina later on this year with Ana de Armas, but it's to see how that works out there. I like Colombiana, so I think there are films in here that work. It kind of means that Kate maybe isn't necessarily, except for the thing that works about Kate is they clearly aren't worried about a sequel. They're not worried about franchising. They're not worried about having the next hit person that can go on and make several sequels. There was a rumor after Salt that there would be a Salt 2. There was a rumor after Colombiana that we might get another Colombiana. No, none of those ever materialized, but rumors. After Kate, there is no rumor because it never lies to you about the trajectory of the film. So, yeah, Kate has And of course, like the description, my favorite sequence is Kate has to go up to a penthouse, and she has this fight with just one of the people in the organization. It doesn't really, not a huge spoiler, but she ends up fighting somebody, and sort of the description of the room ahead of time, and everyone wants to get there, and the fight that as it happens. I thought that was a really sort of interesting fight. Um, and it gets not just the fight sequences right, but also Kate like struggling to stay alive, you know, and having to work through the pain of this thing that's taking over her body and is giving her these sores and stuff as her body sort of is falling apart, and she keeps injecting herself with uh, you know, medication to try to keep amping her up, keep giving her that push forward. So if you haven't seen Kate, you should check it out. That's what this review is. Anyway, I'm gonna give Kate a B. Yeah, I said it was good, not great, not excellent, but good. Anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I will see you guys on the other side.